With the WWE, we've had a lot of awesome superstars like The Rock and Stone Cold that are iconic, and some of them have gotten to the point that they far exceed sports entertainment and find success elsewhere, whether it be movies or TV shows and so many other things that we had to write down 5 of the greatest superstars that exceeded their success outside of just the WWE. And at number 5, we are starting it off with the Ayatollah of rock and rolla, Y2J Chris Jericho. So not only is he charismatic in the ring and on the microphone, he took that to the podcast realm, launched his own podcast network inside of Podcast One. He's got a web series, and not to mention the band Fuzz, which I don't listen to it too much, but it's been going on for over 10 years.
Fuzzy's all right.
He manages to do all of that. How crazy is Chris Jericho?
It makes you wonder if Chris Jericho fits in time to sleep, because every time you look around, Chris Jericho is doing something new, whether it's a new podcast, a new segment. He's writing something for Fuzzy. He's
Multiple
on tour with Fuzzy.
books.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. He's written 3 books. I can say the word written. And then all of that, and he still manages time to go to the WWE, come back, and help build future talent. Like, Chris Jericho is a success in every sense of the word.
Yeah, I mean, he's found success in so many places. I mean, I know he's done some acting as well. He did a short web series for Comedy Central. I mean, the guy just keeps going, and I don't know how he does it, but he's doing a damn good job in every facet of his life, apparently.
Thanks to the podcast, I get Jericho 3 times a week with Raw, and then not 1 but 2 podcasts a week. The man is crazy.
Drink it in, man.
And he's great at writing lists. We can agree to that. At number 4, now this one was unexpected. Batista was a key part of Evolution, the stable that ran over the Raw roster, but eventually he landed a role in this small movie by the name of Guardians of the Galaxy and kicked ass and knocked it out of the park. After that, he went to James Bond movies, and he's it. I mean, he's far exceeded the world of wrestling when many people said, you're just going to be doing the pink shirt thing because that was the last good thing you did in wrestling. You were proven wrong.
Hey, Blutista was great.
Yeah,
he was
Batista's
great.
This weird case where when he came back to wrestling, it actually seemed like a step in the wrong direction for Batista's career. Like, oh God, you're doing so many good things outside of here. Don't come back to wrestling, Batista. You're doing good. But to go back a little bit, when Batista first left, it seemed a little sketchy at first, where he was doing like MMA and small roles, but then boom, landed Guardians of the Galaxy, and he killed it as Drax the Destroyer, my favorite character of that movie. And then since then, the sky's just been the limit for Batista.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that Guardians of the Galaxy and James Bond, these are huge hits, and I'm expecting to see his movie career continue to develop and find more success.
I think he was in a Mummy movie, but I can't be quoted on.
Or was
he
he
was in
in,
one of the straight-to-DVD Scorpion King movies.
Was he in
Yes.
one of the Riddick movies too, I think?
Maybe.
Potentially.
It wasn't good for Batista
Possibly.
at first. It was slow off the ground.
What
but
matters
then,
is he
boom.
did Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
Because otherwise,
exactly.
maybe he wouldn't be on this list. Now, at number 3, this guy's primarily known for his career in WCW. He had some time in WWE, didn't do too great, but it ain't your mama's
But that's
yoga.
not a bad thing.
That's a good thing.
It ended up being a really great thing, really.
Now, feel the bang with Diamond Dallas Page, DDP. This man
That should be a
revolutionized
catchphrase.
he revolutionized the world of exercise and just life, apparently, with DDP yoga, which I use regularly.
It ain't your mama's yoga.
It ain't your mama's yoga. I do it at least 3 to 4 times a week. And that's not enough, because not only has many wrestlers are credited their well-being, including Chris Jericho, to this, but then talk about Scott Hall and Jake the Snake Roberts, the Jake the Snake Roberts documentary, which has won multiple awards and is even available on Netflix. What else could be said about this guy? Not just the man, not just the character, but his devotion to improving people's health. There's no S.
Yeah, I mean, DDP, if we're going by, who has, outside of wrestling, helped, affect lives, I mean, DDP he's literally saved lives. I mean, Jake the Snake and Scott Hall were in very, very rough shape before DDP decided to help them. And, some of this, I mean, it's DDP yoga, but just, he takes these people into his own home, essentially, to take care of them. And he deserves all the success that he's gotten. DDP yoga, I need to start doing it again because it is a great system. I do own it. And, he's found something that's really caught on because, yoga has sort of this kind of stigma to it that it's more targeted towards females or whatever, but this is something that you don't feel weird as a guy to do this type of yoga
at all.
And
No,
and then
to
take that and also have success with by documenting things with Jake the Snake and Scott Hall, it's like he's had success in sort of like the documentary front because of that.
Exactly. DDP has really just built his own empire with the DDP yoga and helping all of these people. I would argue that with the recent stories, like you hear Chris Jericho does his program, AJ Styles does it for his back. Mick Foley, like DDP out of everybody else has given the most back to wrestling while still being successful on his own, enabling all of these top stars to really perform at their peak with the help of his program, and just making that program has made him a huge success.
And as a quick side note, Keith and I personally met DDP a couple of years ago, and this was at a convention where, it was like a dead hour, like there weren't too many people there, and he could have easily gone like whatever, but the man took time to like actually talk to us about why he's doing everything, and he was so genuine that the first thing I did when I got back to Puerto Rico was get DDP yoga, and this was a time where he was calling every person, and to this day I regret because I was at work, he actually called me on my phone. I had a voice message from DDP and I missed an opportunity to talk to him, and he even commented on the video that's on this very channel with the review. So obviously DDP Yoga has grown since then, but it shows that
you're a success story from DDP Yoga.
Yeah, I had a lot of back problems. I mean, there's a full video. You can actually check that out. It's an old video. I used to be thinner then, but
I should do DDP Yoga.
We're going to have to set some goals about DDP Yoga here on Byte That. Now, at number 2, similar to Y2J Cruz Jericho, Stone Cold Steve Austin, one of the greatest superstars, if not the greatest superstar of all time. He steps away from the ring after WrestleMania 19, losing to The Rock. He had some characters there in WWE as GM and commissioner and blah, blah, blah. What matters is that he was able to actually get better on the microphone, more comfortable in the podcast realm. You want to drink something? Steve Weiser's, he's got actual branded beer.
Real talk for a moment here. Why did it take this long to get Stone Cold Steve Austin branded beer in this world? This should have happened years ago.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. At least it finally exists now.
True.
I'm going to have to get myself some of that.
Yeah, but he had so many things, including movies. The first Blu-ray movie I saw was actually The Condemned, which it was all right? But here's a guy that he probably monetarily didn't need to do much outside of WWE with the royalties and everything, but he did the movies, the Broken Skull Challenge. He's got a clothing line with all the Stone Cold clothing you can buy online, and the personality that he's been able to transform himself into led from being like this badass in the ring to a badass on the microphone, in interviews and doing great at it.
Yeah, he was one of the first people to really pick up this whole podcasting in wrestling trend that's going on right now. And I would say it changed Stone Cold for the better, because when Stone Cold originally left, it's very similar to Batista, where didn't really hit the ground very fast. It was like, oh, here's a couple of movies. He was in The Condemned, The Expendables, nothing really memorable. But then, boom, the whole podcasting thing happened. And then it really, Stone Cold just shot to the moon with that.
Yeah, I mean, podcasts kind of really had this reawakening. And I think a big step in the wrestling world was 100% because of Stone Cold's podcast. And it's, not only does he also have that Broken Skull Challenge, he has that Redneck Island TV show. Like, he's doing a lot of stuff and keeping himself busy, and just a lot of different avenues and things he's found success in outside of WWE.
And who does he do it for?
The working man.
The working man.
Yes. Swig of water for
Swig of water for the working man.
I'm just going to grab my phone because I don't have any water. At number 1, it's obvious. He went from being broke with like $4 on his wallet, as he's documented on multiple occasions.
On
his wallet.
Just
his
laid
wallet
those
was
$4
so
He was so
broke.
poor. His wallet didn't even have a slit.
His wallet, it didn't even have a spot for it.
That's how much money he didn't have at the moment. But The Rock has become not the biggest or one of the biggest WWE superstars, the biggest star in Hollywood, in the world, pretty much. Where after his WWE career, yeah, he did the Scorpion King. He did some things that were okay, but he had some doozies in there. The Disney movies and something Fairy Tale. It wasn't looking too good.
He was the Tooth Fairy.
At some point, the Tooth Fairy. At some point, he said, I'm done. I'm gonna be the biggest star out there. He's got so many.
Boy, did he take that literal, and he is just the biggest man now.
Yeah, he is the man. Like, physically, he's like the freaking Hulk, except he doesn't really need to be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but he's got the Furious movies, which he's one of my favorite characters in it. He's in so many things. It's so hard to really, fathom how many movies. And not just that, he's able to take his personality in the social media platform, and that in itself has become a thing, right? Where he's become an inspiration to other people, where, hey, you maybe think that you may not find success. He always has a quote, which is like, always stay hungry, but stay humble. Like, he transcends that. He transmits that to people, and that's why The Rock is just an awesome human being.
Exactly. For all the success that The Rock has found, he seems like such a great person and so humble that, in my eyes, he deserves every little bit of it. And boy, has he gotten a lot of it with the Furious movies. Just, really, he's been in almost every movie recently.
And he has the TV show, Ballers.
Ballers.
Yeah.
And he's been doing, like you mentioned, all the social media stuff. He just did a YouTube channel where he recently did, like, a Rock Reacts thing that I've really enjoyed, where he, talks about his first match and goes through the whole thing.
I was just watching that, actually.
Mm-hmm. It's but yeah, everything The Rock does, and it seems like he has fun doing it, and it's so great that he's found all the success he has.
Yeah, I mean, The Rock, he is the mega star and basically the ideal path of someone who goes into WWE. You have your career, you do all you can do, and then you go out and you find your own success in the world after it's time to finish up wrestling. And the cool thing is he still takes the time to come back to WWE and give back.
And you can tell that The Rock has outgrown the WWE when he can do literally anything and they will okay it.
That is very true. And as a closing thought, if you look down this list, you see that many people took almost their hobbies or what they like doing outside of WWE, and they were able to make it their main thing going out of there, which shows like how great their personalities are. Batista's been very honest about the WWE product. So establishing themselves in a bigger form has allowed them to be open about, hey, in wrestling, maybe I don't like this, maybe I like this. So outside of these 5 people that found success, which other ones should we possibly work on a second part? Drop that in the comments below, as well as out of these 5, which is your number 1 pick? For me, even though The Rock is at number 1, DDP has a personal value because he's transformed my life with the yoga that ain't your mama's yoga. If you like this video, make sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, check out the podcast available every single Wednesday night. We cover Raw, SmackDown, pay-per-view predictions, wrestling news. And if you want early access to most of these things and a couple of really, really kick-ass perks, head on over to patreon.com/Byte That. You're able to directly contribute to the channel. You get access to exclusive behind-the-scenes updates. We ask you about where should we head on over? What are different ideas that we have? And you can comment, hey, this would be cool, or maybe this won't work out too much. So if you have any questions, send us a tweet to Byte That Cast and enjoy the videos on screen if you are not done watching us. So until next time, thank you for watching, and we'll be back with tons more right here on Byte That. Wow.